Hi everybody, it's Todd Salen with Remax Choice in the Selling Homes 24/7 team. Today we're going to talk about what happens after you have made an offer and that offer has been accepted. This is an exciting time for you. You know, we worked hard to write an offer on a house that you absolutely loved. The offer was accepted and geez, what's going to be part of what's going to be next? Well, one of the things that you did, you wrote an escrow check, I'm sure, for the house. Your realtor needs to get a copy of that because they need to deposit that within 24 hours. They need to get that in the bank. And the first two steps that you have, the first step you should make, ask your realtor to send a copy of your contract to your lender so that they know that we're moving forward with that particular house. That's an important step. And the next step, you probably had a clause in to have the house inspected. Having the house inspected is a wise choice. You know, you didn't go up in the attic, you didn't go down in the crawl space, you don't know what it's like. Therefore, you know, we want to make sure we send a professional that's going to go look at those things. And in addition, they're going to look and see what's going on with the electrical system, with the plumbing, and the other things, the other systems that are involved in the house. They'll check all the appliances. They'll probably go up on the roof if the weather is okay, and they're going to check all of those things for you. They'll check even the landscaping to make sure that there's no problems out and around the house. So it's worthwhile to have that inspector. While you're at it, go ahead and have that inspector set up a radon test. In this day and age, it seems like about 85% of inspections include a radon test. Ask your realtor for a pamphlet on radon testing. You want to make sure that your house has below the acceptable levels for radon. Now, you may say, well, that's not a big deal for me. Trust me when I say this. By the time you sell your house in 2 or 3 years, I'm going to guess that probably 100% of inspections are going to include radon. We want to try to get the seller to pay the cost of mitigating that instead of having you have to make that cost when you turn around and sell the property. So let's get the property inspected. Let's go ahead and have it tested for radon. Now, whether or not you test for other things like lead paint or mold or things like that, that's a good conversation for you to have with your realtor. All right, so we got the contract signed. You called your lender, let them know you're moving forward. You had it inspected. The inspection comes back. Now, I'm going to caution you that if it's a 100-year-old house, maybe it's a house that somebody has lived in for the last 30 years, don't be scared when you see that there's 50 or more things that are problems with the house. You know, there's some people who just don't keep up with every single day-to-day thing in the house. Plus, codes change and different equipment changes over time. Don't be scared. We're going to turn around once we get that list of things that need to be repaired. We're going to turn around together and we're going to decide. I tell my clients to put things in 3 categories on their inspection report. Category 1 is things that must be fixed: electrical, plumbing, foundational issues, things like that. Those things that need to be fixed. We need to make sure we ask the seller for those. The second category is things that would be nice if it would be fixed. You know, maybe you've got a window that sticks, or a door that's bad, or a door handle that's not working properly. You know, it'd be nice to have them fixed, but it's not critical. And the third category I often tell my clients to put things in is things that I can live with. You know, the inspector might note, for example, that there's cracks in the sidewalk or in the driveway. You know, it's not realistic to expect the seller to replace a driveway because there's a crack in it. And so you're going to live with that, and that'll be okay. And you're going to be fine with that. Okay, so we got that done. We make our list. We present that to the sellers so that they can come back to us and let us know whether or not they're going to fix it. They tell us they're going to fix, maybe they're going to fix everything, maybe they're going to fix everything but a couple of things. But either way, we're going to sign some paperwork and we're going to move forward. And then it's going to be, the next thing on the agenda is going to be getting to the closing. I want you to periodically check in with your lender, make sure that they have all the paperwork that they have. About a week before the closing is when things start to heat up again. Check in with your lender, make sure everything's okay. A couple of days before the closing, the lender's going to be able to tell you. And if you have an attorney, I strongly advise you have an attorney as well. Your lender and your attorney will tell you how much money you need to bring to the closing. You're probably paying a down payment, and there's also a few other closing costs. They'll give you that exact number. You can ask your realtor, ask your lender for wiring instructions, so we make sure that we get the right amount of money at the closing table. so that you can then, guess what? We get to that closing table. We're going to go to a title company probably or an attorney's office. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that closing table. And you're going to own the house at the end of that hour or so of that meeting. They're going to give you the keys and it's going to be yours. Oh, by the way, I meant to say, about 2 days before you close, you want to do what's called a walkthrough. We want to go through the house one more time, make sure that everything's working. Maybe it's a good idea to bring your inspector with you and make sure that everything's been fixed that needs to be fixed. Make sure that, we want to make sure that something didn't happen between the last time you saw it a month ago and today. Maybe, I've seen it before where they took some things off the wall and there was a big hole in the wall. Or when they were moving the furniture out, they put a big gash in the wood. We want to make sure that those things are corrected before we get to the closing. Okay, now we're back at that closing table. We're signing all the paperwork. We get the keys and the house is yours. Congratulations. All right, so now in our next call, or not our next call, but our next video, we're going to talk about what it means to be a coming soon property. What does that mean when you see a sign on the front of a house that's coming soon? Thanks. I look forward to seeing you again.